Hello and welcome back to our crafter project. Come and check out and see where we're at the moment. So as you can see, it's a little bit of change happened or happening. What do you think, Nick?
Well, it's the boards are the main change, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to refit these boards, get all the decals to line up. A little bit of a tricky, fiddly job, but it's cool. So I did have quite a lot of insulation behind this panel, so I've taken some of it out so it sits a bit better. Now I'm just going to line it up.
So how to line it up?
Yeah.
It's going to be quite tricky, isn't it? Because
Very tricky. It's very tricky.
And it's like, it's going to be millimetre accurate, isn't it, basically?
Well, as best we can, yeah.
And
it'll be all right.
Yes.
All I need to do is put a little bit of carpet down that pillar so that the two boards are exactly the same level, because at the minute I put the board up and it's a little bit lower as we don't have the carpet there. So pop a little bit of carpet on there, that'll help level the boards up, which will help us line the decals up.
Well, I think, to be
Because
fair,
it's quite an obvious white and blue,
yeah.
you know.
Well, I think for people that haven't seen it properly, the blue is actually really nice.
It's a lovely colour. I really like that lightness and, yeah. It
Well,
works.
like,
It needed to be that sort of colour indoors, as it was very plain with our white and our wood, and I mean not very dark. But the ceiling and the floor, two different types of wood. I think it's going to look really good with a bit of colour, and that's what it brings. That nice bit of colour, doesn't it? Perfect.
Well, yeah, it was missing that pop, as you said.
Yeah,
so.
definitely.
Right. So where are we starting?
I'm going to cut a bit of carpet.
Yeah.
And stick it on there so I've got my levels right with the boards, and I can screw my last screw holes, get those right, and then I'm going to start working out the water stuff, which is the big job.
Yes, that is quite complicated.
Well, there's just a lot going on, isn't there? So
Fiddly.
we've got water going down to our tank underneath. We need water coming back up to our pump and our accumulator set up, a pressured feed to our outside shower that we haven't fitted yet.
Well, do you want to quickly show you what you've done with the pipe so far?
We haven't really done much apart from...
But yeah, no one's seen it though.
Yeah. So this is our main feed in. Obviously it's massive at the moment.
Yes.
But we've got this little reducer on. So I'm going to cut the pipe down and have that reducer somewhere here. I might even take it through the floor. And that's the correct size to go into the tank. I mean, this is not like a pressurised water fill, so it doesn't really matter. We've got a massive inlet. But the two holes for our inlet and down to the tank is here. I'll have to drill through the floor, which is fine, and then drill back up for our feed coming back up from our tank, and then our accumulator and pump setup is going to be under here. So I'm going to try and keep all of our water and our utilities this side.
Well, and also it's easy access, isn't it? So if there is a problem, like a leak or something,
yeah, exactly. And we're not compromising our sliding drawer. Okay, we are taking away a little bit of storage, but we have got storage under this side as well.
There's quite a lot of storage in here, but
and the pods up.
The main thing is to have this accessible.
Yeah, I want accessible as well. Yeah, as you say, we need to be able to check for leaks. It needs to be serviceable because it's parts that you may need to get to in the future. So there we go. That is a little bit of progress so far. These are all screwed down now, Nick. Screwed down to the floor in position.
Nice.
So these work quite nicely now. Pop that over. Ta-da. Nice gap along there. So that works well. Pleased with that. It's just, making sure that these tuck in nicely behind. Still a lot of work to do, mind.
Yeah. Bits and bobs.
I like it, I like it. It's coming together. You can start seeing it coming together now. It's been sort of like a big empty shell for a long time, isn't it? So...
the iconic noisy lorry, JK Workshop.
Noisy, dusty lorry.
Well, I guess we'll montage it for a bit, so you're going to crack on with this carpeting.
Let's get a bit done.
And we'll catch up after you've got that bit done.
Yeah, lovely. Thanks, Nick.
So you may notice we've got the water tank down. Before we get to that though, behind you, Mark.
Oh, there.
The elephant in the room. We have got some decals on the
So
van.
we've got some decals on it, and we've got some off-roady, styly, chunky tyres.
Pretty beefy tyres.
Yeah,
and wheels
correct
now.
loading though for this vehicle. Very important. Make sure your tyre loading's right.
Yeah,
and
we
your
got
wheel
those
loading's
sort of
right.
quickly done. So
looks kind of good now. Doesn't
yeah, I
it?
didn't get a chance to film the game put on, but it looks quite good. It makes it less of a van.
Yes, less van, more camper styly van, I think.
Yes, and I mean the wheels look really cool. Don't they?
Yeah, I think it's good. Obviously we've got it jacked up at the moment.
Yes.
with our lovely water tank back out.
Yes, so back to the water tank.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well, we've done our test fit, haven't we? We've done our test fit, do you remember?
Yes, yeah.
So all we're going to do now is put a level sensor in it.
Okay.
And a level sensor with a little display that goes inside, so you've got an idea of roughly how much water you've got left in that massive 90-litre tank. So that's what we're doing.
Cool.
Pop him in the top, and then we can pop our tank back up and then plumb the tank in.
So is this going to be an easy job, do you think?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Always easy.
Always easy. Yeah, fairly straightforward, Nick, actually. Fairly straightforward. So first I'm going to work out how big we need a hole to be able to put our sender in. Probably won't see it because it's black
I
on
was
black.
saying you're using black pen on black.
But it goes a little bit red, look at that, see?
A bit red?
Yeah. A red glint of light off a permanent marker.
Yeah.
Take my word for it. I can see it, it's good enough.
Oh, okay.
So we'll drill that and we can go around with a jigsaw, or we could go around with a drill and cut it out. Either way, but I think I'm just going to jigsaw it out.
Yeah?
Be done with it, yeah.
We're going to have to flush this out, aren't we?
Clean the hole up, yeah, and then put the hoover in or the vacuum in the top and get all our debris back out.
Charles is ready to go.
He's ready to rock and roll. He's there, always ready for us, isn't he? I'm not going to bother with a pilot hole because it's soft plastic. Right, that gets it through so I can get a jigsaw in there and get that cut out. A bit tall.
Zip those off.
Marky. I think I'm just going to cut them with a junior hacksaw. Before we put our water sender in the tank, I just wanted to test it. So we're wired up here with our 12 volts, and we've got a glass of water to simulate our tank, and that is half full, about halfway. So that lines up with here, and as I pull the sender out of the glass of water, you can see that, here we go lower, and then we're down to reserve once we remove that from the water altogether. Perfect. So that works. So I'm happy to put that in the tank now rather than put it in, it not work, and take the tank back down. I may have to go a slightly bit bigger to get the plug through, but let's have a look. Right, not quite big enough.
No?
So that means I've got to go up slightly with a step drill under here. That's a 13mm hole. I can't quite get my plug through it. I've sort of wiggled it through.
That's all it needs, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little gentle push, I think. It's sort of stuck in the wooden bit of the floor now. So as you see, that's our little P-clips I've added to our mounts, run the cable in through, and then what I'll do, I'll pop a little bit of sealer in here when we're finished this end, and that'll keep the wiring nice and taut and stop it moving about.
Coolio.
Yeah, like it?
Very neat.
Yeah, I think it keeps it neat, doesn't it? Beautiful. Excellent, eh? Plenty enough wiring to put our display where I haven't decided where that display's going to
I was
go.
going to ask if you even thought about where it's going yet.
Well, I think this side, which would make sense because it's by the shower.
Yeah, and
you would check it before you got in, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Right, this is going to take some drilling, Nick.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I've got a cone cutter, and I need to go to the full size of that width of that cone cutter. It probably would be easy with like a nice hole saw, but I haven't got any.
Ah.
So we're going
cone
with
cutter it is.
Cone cutter would be fine. It's pretty sharp, to be fair. And then I can file the holes up afterwards if they're a bit rough and horrible, you know. Ooh.
Well, that was a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to open it up a touch. No, look at that.
There you go, that's all right.
That one's good. So with the 35 to 50 mil, 55?
Yes, 35 to 50.
35 to 50 mil Jubilee clip.
There you go.
I've got our massive Jumbler Huffley water pipe attached to the Fiamma inlet. So they use a really big size, don't they, Fiamma, for some reason?
Yeah, well, it matches their water tank.
Their water tank, yeah. So I've got this clever little adapter. So the idea is this then matches our water pipe, which is our 19 mil.
Which you've realised you've not got in here.
Yeah, where is it? It's down outside, isn't it? It's so noisy, aren't they?
Have you just realised you haven't got that in here?
Yeah, I haven't got it in here.
Yeah.
I'll go and get it in a minute. So the idea is that I'm going to obviously cut that and fit that into here and then put our smaller section pipe on here that's going to go through to the floor to the tank. And I'll probably secure this with a P-clip, good old P-clip, to the side of this board so it doesn't move. And then when we put the paneling in, I've split the panel in so it'll go over that hose.
Ah, yeah. So they can go in. Yeah.
So that's looking good. And I think we'll take our pipe down to our inlet into the pipe and then out from the tank back into the van. And once we've got it into the van, I can then run our pump and accumulator system here and then work out where we're going to go with the hot water.
Yes, that is the tricky bit. We're a bit of
That's the
dilemma
next
at the
head
moment.
scratcher. But that's fine. Let's get the water into the van first, I think.
Cool. Well, I'll go and get those pipes for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you know where they are?
No.
Okay. So we've got the plumbing through from the water tank, and next is to do the water heater,
This little beast here.
which is a whale.
It is.
Whale something.
Oh, I thought you just meant the size of it.
No, it's a whale water heater.
Yeah,
isn't
it is, yeah. It's pretty big though.
Yeah, it's a chunky thing.
So I need to find a space for this under the van, Nick. It's got gas connection, and this is the exhaust flue. Ba-da-ba-da. And then on the indoors, which this pokes up through the van, well, we've got our connection for our control pad, hot and cold water supply, and an emergency shut-off as well.
Cool.
So,
Well,
I need to find a decent position underneath the van.
Yeah.
Which
Bit tricky.
a little bit tricky because we've already got our massive water tank in there, we've got a lovely fuel tank over the other side, and we're running a spare wheel.
Yeah.
So I have seen these fitted towards the rear of the van without a spare wheel fitted.
Yeah, so usually if you've, like when with Ben and Anna's van, you'd have a garage.
Yes.
And you can remove the spare wheel and put it up from under there.
Yes, so you'd have all your sort of utilities in one area,
Yes.
which we're still trying to do. We're trying to keep it in the same area, but I think we're going to have to come up through into the bottom of the bed storage.
Okay.
So part of it's going to
Hide
be
it out of the way, basically.
Yeah, but it'll be out of the way. But that part of the bed will be utilities only, where we've coming through for our water supply, in and out. We're going to keep it all in that area. So I'm trying to get this through up into that position. Yeah, I know.
Tricky.
Well,
but-
they could have made it a bit smaller, couldn't they? Look at the size of
No,
it.
it's big.
No, it's supposed to be really efficient and work really well. So that's why it's this big. It's got a tank in there that heats up, and I've done a lot of measuring. And I'm going to pop some drill holes up. So I've marked out where this is going to go. And what I want to do is cut this section out first.
Yes.
So I'm going to pop the drill up through from underneath. Hopefully, if I've measured right, it's going to come up in the right place.
Hopefully.
Now, I'm 99.99% sure that it'll come up in the right place.
It's not 100% though.
It never is.
No.
Never is. Could be,
Right, well,
yeah.
if we go underneath, we'll show you roughly under the van where we're putting it.
Yeah.
So the only place we have left, Nick, is here, this area here. But the only thing I've got to move and change slightly is where the handbrake cable runs.
Yes, I was going to ask about this.
Yeah, so that
Tidy
I'm going to have to
cable.
reroute the handbrake cable and possibly the brake pipe. But it's fine because I've worked on cars all my life and I'm a fully trained engineer
Yeah, so
in
if
the,
you're
in the
doing this-
automotive world.
Yeah, so if you're feeling this at home, we suggest getting someone in to do
Well,
it.
get a professional in to, if you're going to start moving things like brakes and brake cables, you should really sort of get someone that knows automotive stuff to be
Yeah,
able to do
because
that.
if that goes wrong, you're a bit screwed.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. And the last thing you want to do is roll it on the MOT bay and the MOT inspector go, "What have you done here?" So this is the area that we've got left. Unfortunately, is the only area we've got left to fit it. And obviously it's going to go up probably about 3 inches more than it is now.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be higher than our, well,
Well, it's going to be roughly the same as the water tank.
might be a bit above that, yeah. Anyway, so I've marked it out. I've measured this section here. This rectangle is going to pop through the floor. So, yeah, moment of truth. I'm going to pop a couple of drill holes through. Make sure we're in the right place, Nick. Did you want to watch that?
Yeah, so I'll go up top and make sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be a bit awkward.
Okay, yeah. And then you can tell me whether it's in the right position or not. And don't fib.
So Mark has drilled the pilot hole.
We're ready to
And
go.
we've got our ear protection in.
We've got our ear protection in.
And we're going to cut it out.
Are we ready? I'll probably do full throttle on this.
Yeah, I was just asking, is it full throttle?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah?
Full throttle.
How How's that going?
It's going great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
This is our water heater and it's fully installed now. As you can see, we've got a seal around the outside, so that seals it from inside to outside as it's underslung. We've got a release here. This actually drops the water out the bottom, so when you're parked up over winter or for a long period of time, you can drain it and not have water outside in that tank. We've got our cold inlet and our hot outlet. Now the heater itself is run by either a 240 volt or a gas and a 12 volt together. And all of our pipe work is the same 12mm flexible height pipe, and it comes in blue and red, so that can help denote the cold and the hot. And these are just push fit connectors, really simple, and make life really easy on the fitting application. Also, if you are doing an underslung tank, it's really important to use non-return valves. As our pump's above our tank, we want to keep this pump full of water at all times. So we've got a non-return valve here, and there's also another non-return valve down at the lower part of the tank. So we make sure at all times this is full of water. So the next little job, Nick, is
Outdoor shower.
this is our outdoor shower, yeah, look at that.
And what is it? It's a bullfinch.
It's a bullfinch, yeah. 2 connections on the back, one hot, one cold if you desire, and one quick connect shower that goes on the front. So by the time we've cut that into the van, bolted it in, sealed it up, we can put our quick connector in, and then you can rinse your feet off, rinse your dog off, rinse your surfboard off.
Well, yeah, I think, yeah, 'cause that's what Andy said he wanted it for, wasn't
Literally just for rinsing his surfboard and the dog's feet, I think. They're called 15mm whale quick connectors, so they literally clip on and off. Really quite cool. So that makes life quite easy plumbing it in. Right, first thing we need to do, Nick, is sort the hole out and get this mounted. But we need to know the perfect place for this.
Yes, so where are you thinking of putting it?
Well, it's got to be this side of the van, as we said. I've actually marked it out already. A little bit Blue Peter. I've worked out that that is great for us in terms of visually it's going to be quite nice down out the way. And with the door flap round as well, with that shut, it doesn't interfere with that. And it allows us access from the other side. So it's a win-win.
Perfect.
And it's right at the end of the van as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so we
Just on the edge.
put it at this end because
So you
if
can
when you
shower
got
the
the
dog
awning
off.
out,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be
You
a
don't want to be
muddy
doing
puddle.
it in front of your barbecue or
No,
whatever you're
so
doing.
we're putting it here so you can wash it out of the way.
Yeah, cool. Right, I just need to mark out the size of the hole.
Yep.
And then
Get
cut it
cutting.
out, yeah. I think we use the old jigsaw for that, Nick. My favourite tool.
Yeah.
Full throttle, cut the hole out. So I'm going to eye this up in the centre, like so, then draw around this with a permanent marker so I can see it. So I need to cut that out. I'm going to cut up to this edge here, all the way around, job done. I need to fire through with the drill first though, so I've got enough hole, a big enough size hole to be able to get my jigsaw blade in to start cutting. So with any hole that you're drilling, always start off with a pilot drill. I'm starting with a little 3mm drill bit. So I'm going to pop a hole in the side of the van, obviously within my circle. Not pushing too hard so we're going to dent the panel either. Now we can step up a size, big enough to get our jigsaw blade in. So that's the whole cut. I've then filed it up and popped a little bit of primer and paint around it to stop that edge corroding. We don't want any rust there. So I can pull our masking tape off that we use for a little bit of protection. So now we can try it in the hole and make sure it fits where I want it to. And then with that closed down, that lines up with our bottom of our swage line just where I wanted it. Right, next is to drill the 4 securing holes. So I'm going to hold it steady, get one drilled and get a screw in it. It comes with all the necessary fixings, and the little screws have got like a little rubber washer on as well for keeping them all watertight. So that's it, that's all 4 fixings in with its little rubber washers on. Perfect. So as you can see, we've got the 2 pipe connections on the inside, one for hot and one for cold. Both of those fittings on the actual shower itself are 15mm. So we did have to put a reducer in line. So it's a 15mm to 12mm for our flexible pipe that we're using for the water delivery. And as you can see, our hot and cold pipes run all the way back round the van, back to our main water system here.
So we are on to the next stage of the project and we are fitting the gas heater.
We've got some warmth going in today, Nick.
It's a Propex gas heater.
Yep. So we need to find a place for this. It's a lovely little compact unit though, I have to say. Look at it. All that heat in that little tiny box. Quite amazing, isn't it? So we have a fresh air in, a hot air out, We've got a fresh air in for the burner and the exhaust out. And then a gas input in the back. Take that out. I would do if I had some nails. And then this little top comes off and our wiring for the control unit plugs in. So it's all fairly straightforward. The hardest part about this is finding somewhere to put it. Yeah. So the first idea was under the passenger seat. Reason being that it can then direct the heat straight out into our camper van.
Yeah, so you can
Kinda cool.
pop it out through here.
Out through the back here. Warm the thing up. Lovely. We've got sort of room under there.
So, but you need the air intake as well, don't you? So,
Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But the main thing is these two have got to go through the floor.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
yes.
So that is
one's
the limiting factor.
Because one's the exhaust, isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought straight underneath this passenger chair, straight through. The only trouble is we've got the AdBlue tank under here.
Ah, yes, because it comes in through here, down
So we've
straight
got
down.
fuel tank this side, our water tank that side, and AdBlue tank this side. So it might be a little tight. Anyway, I went and had a little shifty look from the other side, and I can see up underneath, and I can see the main wiring grommet that's here that goes through. So if I run these in line with that wiring grommet, we've got space under there to put it. But that means I need to make some changes under the seat slightly to be able to get this in.
Yeah, except at the moment there's a lot of wiring and fuses and stuff.
Yeah, so this big grommet here, can you see that big old grommet where all the wiring goes through the floor? So I can see that from the other side.
Wait, can I grab your torch?
Oh, yeah.
It's very dark. There you go.
So this wiring grommet here, I can see underneath. So if I keep our inlet and our exhaust in line with that grommet, I can drill through the floor there and I can get to all that from the other side. Cool, huh? Only one problem. This does fit in here, or it will fit in there. And then what do we do with the fuse box? Right, so I need to relocate the fuse box and move some of the wiring because, because that has to go there. There is no other choice. That's the only part. I did think about putting it under the driver's seat as well.
So where you think you're moving that?
Around this way somewhere.
Okay.
Or out, no, in the glove box. That's not that long. So I'm going to turn it round, secure it this side, maybe have to pull the carpety bits up and relocate.
I'm assuming this is specific to this vehicle because not all the fuse boxes will be.
Well, they'll be in that area, but they'll not necessarily have all the gubbins in it. Depends.
And
How
not all
much
vans
you've
will
got.
have the AdBlue either, will they?
No,
So.
exactly. So it does vary. So it's whatever you've got under your seat, really. But the thing is, as long as you've got a clear path underneath, and we're right by the exhaust and the heat shield under there as well, but we've got enough room to be able to run our piping through that. So that is the only space. I did look at the driver's seat. Again,
Yeah, it wasn't as much space.
no, not as much space.
And
as
then
this
where
side.
would you put the leisure battery and stuff?
And I'd rather have a leisure battery
Yeah.
outside. But just because it's more conducive with the wiring, and our solar control and everything is going to be that side. So we've got our solar wiring coming down that side.
So
and I need to get gas for this, Nick.
yes, because it's a gas heater.
Yeah.
So we're running gas from in here
Yep.
along somewhere under there.
Yeah, I think we can go underneath the floor there. There's a nice little void in that floor.
So you've decided that you're going to cut this out as well, so it's a bit of an easier.
Well, I need
platform
to
for the
see where we're
heater.
going through, yeah. This is just a bit of the sound deadening from underneath the seat. You've got to make a few sacrifices, Nick. It's only from 2016.
Well, you used to have shillings, didn't you?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, because I'm that old. A shilling. I used to go down and buy my paper.
Shilling.
You know what I mean? When people used to do that sort of
When you're
stuff.
penny farthing.
Jump on the penny farthing, scoot off down to the local.
That space there.
Oh, sorry, I was still looking at the corner. Wow.
Do you want to get the box and see?
Yeah,
whether
reasonable amount of space. I think if we just get Charles back in there to hoover up the rest of the horrible polystyrene stuff,
Yeah.
and let's see if we can make this work. So what I did was put a little bit of tape down on the floor, Nick, and sat the Propex in position and just gently pushed it down. And what that did is stuck the tape down and gave me a little reference point. So you can see this little mark here. Yeah?
Yeah,
Can you see it? All right. So if I draw it with a bit of pen, so that was, it's not very round mark, is it? I'll just do a cross so I can drill from the centre, and the same here. And there we go. I can measure that and make sure that's the same as what we have on the heater, but that is the positioning of where we want to put those pipes through the floor. So the next thing to do is we'll start with the front one and we'll use this as our reference. We'll drill through and then measure to the back and then drill through the back one. Does that make sense?
It does make
Does that make
sense.
sense to everyone at home? Hopefully. Right, drill.
And obviously you've pre-checked underneath anyway.
I've double checked, pre-checked.
So if you're doing this at
check,
home-
check, see what's
Yeah.
under there. you know, you'll need to keep away from fuel tanks, brake pipes, anything actually. This is coming around over the top of the exhaust heat shield, but there's a load of space, so it's really good. So I measured from here to here,
Wait, yep.
centre to centre basically. So if I go to edge, it's the same as centre to centre. That is 100 mil. So I just need to measure 100 mil down there. And there, look, it's absolutely bang on. Ta-da! So I just need to drill a hole there.
Whoa, fuel tank.
No, miles away. Next, the cone cutter. There we go.
Bam, straight in.
Straight in, man. Lovely. So I just need to work out a way of fixing that now.
Yep.
So our top half is nearly complete now. Obviously the box is mounted and we've got our heat pipes mounted too. So this is where the hot air comes out and then blows through the van here. And then we have our fresh air vent on the side here, which just allows fresh air to be drawn in under the seats and then taken into the
Because with
Propex
this
heater.
unit, you don't need a pipe for
No.
the inlet.
Well, they don't give you another drop-down size, so in the instructions it said if you're putting this in a box or under a seat or in a bed unit, you just allow for a little bit of extra air circulation through that vent.
Which is what we've done.
It all
so,
makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, the next bit, Nick, is to pop down underneath and pop on our pipe. So we've got an exhaust pipe that needs to go,
Yep.
and we've got a fresh air inlet that needs to come in as well, which is for our combustion. Then all we've got left to do on the top side is the electrical side of it. And for those holes that I made for the air inlets, I've used just a hole saw, like a regular wood hole saw to go through the plastic, really easy. This is the final puzzly piece under here, Nick. This is one last little nut to go on. And that's our exhaust pipe run nice in a nice location.
I'm quite impressed that you managed to get under there without jacking the van up. I guess the new tyres on it have helped.
Yeah, and I've tried not to eat too many wafers,
Yeah.
too many biscuits. Yeah, it's quite handy, you can get straight under it. Could probably do an oil change without jacking it up, you know. This is nice and easy so far. Straight through the floor for our inlet and exhaust. Run a gas pipe to it, a bit of electric, job done. Sort of not quite as fiddly, I would say, or diesely.
Yeah.
Nothing worse than getting covered in diesel, is there? But yeah, in terms of usage, I'm quite intrigued to see how efficient and how warm it gets. That's our Propex heat source heater completed. It's in place, we've got our gas coming into the end of here, and we've got our electrics this side. Now this side we've got our 12 volt feed in, and the control panel controls this unit from up there as well. So I've got the power on by switching onto the panel, and we've got our temperature set, and then we're just waiting for the heater to warm up. It's only been on a few seconds. It's already feeling quite warm through there, so I should imagine that would quickly heat up the van. Yeah. So that Propex heater is really economical with the gas, and it heats up really fast. Be perfect for this size van.
Right, as you can see, it's now time to crack on with the electrics, and I see you've got the Sergeant unit already in, and there's a lot of wiring going on
Bit
there.
of wiring there, Nick. Yeah. Well, I thought I'd better quickly fling that up on the wall and just check out where I'm going to route the wiring. I already had it in my head roughly where I was going to go, as we knew we were good putting the Sergeant unit this side, weren't we? That was our only.
Yeah, it's going to be on this side of the van.
But yeah, there's a few wires.
Yes, there's quite a few.
But it looks worse than it is. It's actually really, really simple, this. We have got some stuff that we're not even using, which is this stuff up here. So there's a few bits that...
And so why are we not using those?
Because we don't need it.
Okay, right.
It's just extra stuff. What is it? I can't even remember what it was.
Yes. So yeah, do you know,
stuff that
show
we're
us the diagram, I guess, so
this is-
how
this-
you worked out
Yeah,
what
this is
needed
our
and what
diagram.
isn't.
So working out what we're running, we've got, vents, heater, lights, front lights, rear lights.
So this is basically everything for the Sergeant unit, which
Yeah.
comes with it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then what you got here.
So you have
inputs
and outputs.
Yeah, so you got the input, which is this one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is the
So that's the heavy cable. So that would be
Yeah.
like the power feed from the vehicle battery
so you basically have
and from the leisure battery.
so basically you got the colour and then what
Yeah,
it's
it tells
for.
you what it does. Yeah.
The same for the outlet,
Outputs,
which
yeah.
is the colour and then what it's
Again,
used for.
so that's like power for the water pump, power for the toilet flush.
So it's actually quite, once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy to understand, isn't it?
Yeah, quite straightforward. And they're all power cables. And then we have a bunch of earths as well.
Okay.
So we can run some earth to the body and then run some earth to the components as well.
Right, okay.
It sounds complicated, but it's not really. So on here we have our engine run signal. So that's very important. That's by law, you have to have an engine run signal. So when you're driving, that unit basically shuts into, well, it shuts itself off.
Oh, okay, it's an automatic turn off.
Yeah, so you haven't got any parts working in the back of the van whilst you're driving. That's part of the law. Not really sure why. I suppose to stop people sitting in the back.
Yeah, and cooking and stuff. Isn't it?
So you can't do any of that. The only thing you can do that we don't do from here is run the fridge. So the type of fridge that we have is a constant compressor fridge. So that would be run directly off of our leisure battery. The fridge that you would run off of this unit is one of the, what they called the absorption type fridge. So that's where I think it's gas, 240 and 12 volt.
Right. Okay, yeah. It's multiple.
Anyway, yeah. So we're not running our fridge off this unit. We're directly feeding it straight into our leisure battery. Much more simple. What else have we got on here? We've got an earth. So again, that's another big earth. That's going to go to the battery of our leisure battery and our vehicle battery, and then we're going to tie to earth as well. So we've got a complete loop of everything. What else have we got here? Let's have a little look, shall we? Front lights. We've got shower lights. We've got extractor fan, and we've got heater. Yeah, that's our shower light. We've got our heater here.
Basically, you got everything
Water
we need.
pump, everything we need.
So what's the next step?
The next step is now I sort of split up into parts that we need to use, is actually start making a loom and running it physically down the van. And then section it off to each part where it needs to go to. Yeah, so our lights, I'll probably start with our lights so we can run our light loom in, because we know where the lights are going, because I've already drilled the holes in the ceiling.
Right, so while Mark cracks on with the wiring and doing the looms, I'm going to have a look at this C-Tech DC to DC charger, which is used for smart alternators. I'm going to have a look, see where the battery is for this vehicle. So I think it's under the passenger seat somewhere, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with that and have a proper look and have a look where this battery is. I'm thinking, oh, it's very dark in here, bear with. I'm thinking it's here somewhere. So I'm going to have a look online, see what they say and crack on with that. Right, so it's a bit of a jump ahead. Excuse that, I did try to do some time-lapse work, but as you see, it got a bit hard to put the camera anywhere. So I'll just quickly explain what's gone on. So we decided to put the C-Tech unit and the battery underneath the passenger seat. And what we've done here is remove the passenger base and remove the handbrake. The handbrake is joined onto the passenger base. So as you can see here, that's where the cable is. So the handbrake's quite easy to remove. You unscrew this from the handbrake and it should just lift up. And we're trying to work out where the wiring will go from the battery all the way to the C-Tech unit. And actually what we've done is we lifted up, you can unscrew this bit, and we lifted it up slightly, and I fed the wire through there, which is already a factory thing, so then we can come underneath the seat base and then into the C-Tech unit. So as you can see, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. But we are making progress, and then while we've got this this other battery, we're going to try and hook stuff up, just test it all, and see how it goes before we finalise and put all the seat back in.
We do need to put our light in the shower.
Yes, we had an awkward moment where
I completely forgot about that.
we realised that
which was actually hilarious when
yes.
you got in here. When this
I
is
was
gonna
basically
be
stood
dark.
in here and Mark looked at me and went, "Oh, there's no lights in there."
Yeah,
so we realised this was basically just going to be a watery coffin because there's no lights at all in here. So we're going to have to put two lights, one there and one there, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So otherwise you're going to have to sit on the toilet in the dark.
Yeah, which is no good. No good at all. So a couple of lights are going in there, which is cool. I've allowed that in the wiring, and our lights for the shower are going to be turned on from the control panel.
Okay, so it's all one thing.
Yeah, so on the control panel you'll have the shower to turn on, basically the water pump, and the lighting in one area. So you can press that before you get in.
Okay, yeah.
And then obviously the water runs from a separate supply over here, not our 90-litre tank, which is for our shower only.
Yes.
Are we going to make the deadline? What happens if not? I don't know. We've got to. We have to. We have no choice. Yeah.
It'll be fine.
It's going to be some long days next week, I think, Nick.
It'll be all good.
I'll be
Right,
fine.
well, we better crack on then.
Yeah. Let's do some. Centre is marked. I'm going to use my hole saw and go steady and cut through the whole lot so we can get our switch in there. Actually, it's not the switch, it's the gauge for our level sender for the tank. Willy woo wah woo.
The
Here it
water.
is.
Oh,
The
wait.
water test.
Yes.
So you give it a little push and it lights up. It's quite handy.
So normally we would, if we had time, we would take this out.
What are you talking about? Normally.
If we had time, we'd take it out and cut it out there. But there's room behind to use this hole saw.
Oh, I see. Well, you're just worried about us looking a bit dangerous on camera. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've checked it. The safety team have looked at it. There's plenty of room behind there.
Health and safety.
Yeah, I'm just going to gently go through
Sean's
it.
checked it.
Sean's been down, ticked it off.
Yeah, quality control.
Yeah, so if Sean says good, it's good. We're just going to go gently, okay? So get that through, get it to sit nice and square. You ready?
Yep.
Full throttle. Cool. I think we've got a load of fluff whacked round the back of it.
Dear.
There we go.
Oh, that'll do it. can't candy anyone.
Okay, so I pulled a bit of the insulation out, which isn't a bad thing because I don't really need it behind there just
She's gonna
yet.
do the wiring in anyway.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. It needs to be square, Nick. You know what I'm like. It has to be as straight as I can get it.
Perfection.
Yeah, well, it's got to be nice, isn't it? So I think we get a screw in there. Ooh. Well, would you look at that?
Ta-da.
Got a little fella on like that.
It's
Look.
not quite level.
Don't tell me that.
No, I was joking.
That's good. I'm happy with that.
Happy?
Yeah. Turn him on here. And then the other switch, I think, for our lights underneath. So you'd effectively come in, turn your power on for your Sergeant unit, twiddle your lights on with the dimmer, however bright you want it. And then when you go for your shower, you've got everything all in one vicinity. Easy enough.
Bish bash bosh.
Bish bash bosh, job done. Right. So I guess it's that one next, and then we work out where our light goes afterwards, which is this fella here. Ta-da! Look at that. I think that looks quite nice now.
Yeah, that. Oh,
And that. Sorry, let me move that. That's in my face. The panels are in. I think they look quite good. It was quite difficult because they're all different shapes and sizes, so it was actually quite difficult to put them in and make them look like they were supposed to be together. But I don't think it looked too bad.
no, it looks good. So you got what? So this is the whole control unit.
Yeah,
that one,
so
isn't
this
it?
is our
Power on.
control unit. So we've got our leisure battery. It tells us how much is in our leisure battery here. This turns our lights on in the shower. This turns our lights on in the van. I won't press that one yet because that's our water.
Pump.
The pump's wired up, and we've got water feed to it, but we haven't capped off the shower yet. So
Yes, you don't
end
want
up pretty wet. Yeah, we don't want to do that yet. This tells us how much we've got in our water tank, and then this is our heater for the Propex heater.
There you go.
Pretty much.
So that's it for now,
There
I
on the
think.
electrical
So
side of things. Yeah, I'm finishing off the panels. You, I believe, are off to EBI.
yes, I'm off
boy.
to I'm off to Belgium for the long weekend.
And I
so-
can't come with you because I've got to do this.
Yes, exactly.
So Matt's here to help. He's the cavalry. He's coming to give me out. He's head of woodwork and head of water, actually.
Head of water.
Yeah, isn't that right, Matt? Yeah. Yep. So head of woodwork and head of water. That's kind of cool. So it allows me to get on and put the bits and bobs that I need to get back on. And then we're getting 2 bits done at once. So yeah, I think a massive leap forward. So when you come back, I don't know if it'd be finished, Nick, but I think we'd be
Close to it.
pretty close, yeah. And then you can help me
Of course.
because you're not going to help me for the next few days, are you?
No.
Brilliant. Yeah, no worries. So we swapped Nick out for Matt.
So that's it for now. I'm off to EBI. You do the crack on.
Yeah, thanks for that, Nick.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. And make sure you bring me a cup of tea back
So
before
we'll,
you go.
So we'll see you next time for the next episode.
See you later.